Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jonna. This is Jonna OMG. Today I'll be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 8. This is the part 1 of the reunion. I feel like they're going to have 3 parts to this reunion. I don't find it necessary to have 3 parts sometimes, but I think they're going to have 3 parts because they're going to have to discuss the altercation between Kate and Deborah, and they have not done that yet. I think part 2 they're going to bring the husbands out because Gordon got a lot to say, child. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right on into this review. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So the stage is set up with their magazine portraits. I thought all the ladies looked beautiful in their spread representing their different icons. I've already commented on the reunion outfits over on my TikTok. Shameless plug. But y'all head over to my TikTok to get my opinion on the reunion fits. So Mia and Karen are in the first seats next to Andy. I really just think they gave it to Karen just based off seniority. Mia, well, in this last episode, Mia brought all the drama, child. So we're gonna have to get to the bottom of her and Gordon. So that's why she got first seat. Ashley was all the way at the end, baby. I'm like, yeah, Ashley, you really didn't bring nothing. Per usual. So Andy starts the reunion off asking if the group can start forgiving and moving forward because it's really a lot of beefs in this group, y'all. Like so deep that they're not even like speaking to each other when they're getting in the group settings or it's time to film or whatever. Like, and it was like even Andy said it was kind of frustrating to watch because I mean nobody was like speaking to each other. So you had so many like mini groups happening within the season and it was just a lot. Like no one found common ground. Like Candace and Gizelle weren't speaking. Candace and Robyn, they tried to get on one accord. That didn't happen. So they stopped speaking. Let's see who else. Giselle and Wendy weren't really speaking. Wendy and Robyn barely spoke. Wendy and Neka really never resolved anything. It was just a mess. They did all admit that when it comes to talking about SEX that they seem to get along, but it's not enough to move them forward in this group. Like, yeah, some accountability needs to happen and soon. So they start with Robyn first regarding Juan and all the his situations and allegations with the S. Him with Canada Girl, and then him with in the nail salon with Coach Bree. And Robyn says that though she can't say anything for certain, she does believe what Juan is telling her. And I'm like, okay, sure, girl. None of the ladies believe anything because it's just so far fetched. Like, he went to this hotel, bought a room for this girl that he doesn't know that he met on Instagram, who's from Canada. You went to the hotel to put the car down. You didn't stay. You deleted the DM. I mean, it's just, girl. But they were basically saying if Robyn like it, we love it. Okay, moving on. But baby, Andy did throw some much needed shade towards Juan. He asked Robyn if she felt like Juan has been supportive, and she actually said yes, he's been showing up, answering questions. I'm like, he's been answering questions when you ask him. Not really when any of the other ladies ask him. And he hasn't really been in group settings where the other ladies had an opportunity to ask him anything. So Andy was like, well, he's not showing up tonight and he doesn't have a basketball game. Oh, I was like, oh, Andy. They clocked him too. They were like, oh, Andy, you shady. But I mean, baby, we know he ain't got no game. He's been fired for reasons we still don't know about, might I add. But Wendy said it all. She was just like, at some point, as your husband, why wouldn't he want to show up and, and take the bullets for you? Like, he knows you're going to be under fire and you having to answer all the questions about him. Like, at some point, he should want to show up and take some of the responsibility from himself instead of having Robyn having to fight all the battles. Like, dude, you can show up. But you scared they're going to ask you the right question and you're not going to know how to answer it. That's really what I think. Because it's like he's just sitting back and watching Robyn take all the scrutiny. Like you just really sitting back and watching it happen. Like, yeah, you answered questions when Robyn asked you, but like, You barely wanted to answer anything when Mia asked him when they went to that little cooking class. And then other than that, he hasn't been around any of the other ladies. So they had no chance to probe him at all. So yeah, you like you're sitting back and watching Robyn having to answer all the questions about your mess ups. You know what I really want to say. So the ladies did express to Robyn how they felt about her withholding all the Juan allegations. Like, yet you go and talk about it on your podcast for money. So it felt disingenuous to the show where you're supposed to be talking about your life and other people are talking about their lives to an extent, I say. But they felt like she was kind of withholding information or in everybody else's business last season so nobody would bring up the situation with Juan and Canada Girl. So a fan asked the question, but they bleeped out the name for some reason. But apparently it's some blogger that Robyn has been sharing personal texts between her and Candace with. And Candace was like, I'm not answering any questions from this person. And Candace was saying that Robyn was talking about Gizelle in those text messages. And then Candace brought out these big poster boards to kind of blast Robyn in the sense that Robyn was talking about Gizelle because she was mad at Gizelle because Gizelle said something about Juan yelling at her. There was a video clip that she shared with the bloggers of Juan, I guess, not yelling at her anyway. But so Robyn was upset about that. But I will say, I know Candace was looking for the theatrical moment, which somebody has to bring the theatrics. I'm not mad at the theatrics, but it did fall flat for me. Just because I guess Robyn had already told Gizelle about the group chat with the bloggers and her being mad about the situation. So it just kind of fell flat because Candace is bringing this like big poster board to like air out some dirty laundry. And it just, yeah, fell flat, my girl. But I appreciate the effort, Candace. It didn't hit like I think you wanted it to hit, girl, these poster boards. Candace still does think that Robyn kind of conspired with Gizelle about the Chris rumors as a way to get away from talking about the Juan rumors. Like, I don't think Candace actually believes Robyn had anything to do with like Gizelle calling Chris the sneaky link in the hotel room and all of that stuff. I think Candace thinks she was going to team up with Gizelle to perpetuate this narrative as a way for her to not talk about the situation that happened with Juan. So she didn't have to bring it up. So put the spotlight on Candace for this season, well, last season. Therefore, we don't have to talk about my situation with Juan. Even though to me, Robyn brought it up anyway because she talked about it on her podcast. I don't think I would have ever known about the Juan allegation if she didn't say it on her podcast and then the blogger started picking it up from the podcast. I didn't hear nothing about it I heard it from her first. So to me, I'm like, well, you should have just said something on the show then if you were going to bust it out anyway. All in all, I think Candace just wants some acknowledgement from Robyn, but Robyn wasn't giving it and not going to give it, I don't think. And she was getting a little emotional, and Gizelle blurted out, "Oh Lord, not the tears." And I ain't gonna lie, it did come across a little mean when Gizelle said it, but I ain't gonna lie to myself. I was thinking, "Oh Lord, not the cry angle. Here comes the cry angle." Because every time Candace starts to cry, baby, she folds this little tissue into a little triangle, dab the inner corners of the eye. So I ain't gonna lie, I said the same thing, but Gizelle was, laughing, and so they were calling her like, mean girl and stuff. But it was giving a little like, because she didn't have to say anything, also, but nobody was even talking to Gizelle in the moment. But anyway, so Andy did ask Gizelle like, why didn't she confront Candace since Gizelle blames Candace for some of the death threats that she was receiving. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, can you really blame the person for their fan behavior? And it might not even been Candace fans that were saying this. Now, granted, could Candace have shut things down? Sure. But to Candace's point, she was like, we've all received death threats to some capacity on this show. It's unfortunate. And it's really outrageous to me because one, we don't really know these people, right? Like, granted, we're forming opinions based off what they are presenting on the show, but we don't actually know them in real life. So to actually threaten somebody's life is outrageous. It's like, y'all don't know them. Like, these are just like they're hiding characters on the TV show. Like, yeah, it's reality TV, sure, but like we don't actually know them. You have never met, some of y'all have never met these people before. So to threaten their lives is sick. So there was a little back and forth between Gizelle and Candace, but y'all could barely take notes because it was honestly going nowhere. Honestly. I do think Gizelle needs to take a little bit more accountability for the implications that she did make about Chris last season, because she was basically trying to say that Chris was wanting to do something with her. Like, and I felt her bringing that up last season was a reach and a desperate attempt of a storyline. I'm gonna be honest, because to me, if Candace was your friend at this point in time, and I don't think her and Candace had big beef, but if Candace was your friend at this point in time, because the situation with Chris happened off camera, I felt like all you needed to do was approach Candace off camera and explain the situation, and if it did make you feel uncomfortable, okay, you could have took it off camera. However, you chose to say it on camera, and that's why I felt like it was a desperate attempt as a storyline, because that's really all Gizelle had going on last season was this Chris rumor. Really. I mean, what else did Gizelle have going on? Crickets. And I think that's ultimately Candace's issue. Yeah, Gizelle apologized for the sneaky link comment, but to me it did feel like a throwaway apology. But that's really all she apologized for. So now, has Candace been harsh to Gizelle? Sure, sure. But we really don't know how it truly affected Candace's household when all of that stuff came around. So yeah, I don't know. Plus, Candace is known to be a little harsh. So, anyway, I'm not giving her a pass, but I really think Candace would have received it better if Gizelle brought it to her off camera instead of running and telling Robyn first and then having a conversation with Gizelle on camera. I think it would have been better received if Gizelle approached her off camera if the situation really truly made her feel uncomfortable. Anyway, then Karen and Robyn had a little tiff, but y'all, I don't think it was that serious, so I'm moving on. So they go on break and they're in their dressing rooms, and Mia's boyfriend, Mr. Ink, FaceTimes her, and y'all, Gordon is in the room with her, and Gordon is speaking to the man like they were just like old time buddies. I was like, this is crazy. Mia was even like, okay, babe, I love you. And Gordon in the room, like, I was just like, what is happening? Like, I know they have filed for separation, but hey, Mia, like, girl, you ain't even trying to be discreet. She like, discretion is out the door. Like, Gordon knows what it is at this point, but yeah, Gordon was on FaceTime, like, hey man, how you doing? I'm like, what? So they move on to Mia's segment. It didn't last long before they cut. And so we'll see more on part two. But Mia is currently living in a penthouse. Gordon is living in Charlotte. Mia's in DC. I don't know where the kids are. I assume with Mia. But bottom line, Mr. Ink, who was her high school sweetheart, thinks that Jeremiah is his son. Now, why haven't they done a DNA test after all this time? Because Jeremiah is her oldest, right? Why haven't they done that after all this time? I have no idea. So it's outrageous to me. No, Jeremiah not her oldest, because she had the oldest with somebody else. So Jeremiah has to be the middle boy. Child, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna find out something, but Gordon, you're gonna have a big reveal on the next episode in part two, and baby, I can't wait for it. So I'm here for it. Gordon, the man said he putting his foot down. He tired of this mess. I don't know what he got to say, but obviously he's cool with the situation because he over here is speaking to Ink on FaceTime like they old pals. It was so crazy to me. It's outrageous. But y'all, that was pretty much the it of part one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how y'all feel about the Candace and Gizelle situation. Do y'all think they can resolve things? Do y'all think this is just the dissolution of their friendship? It may be, because as we know, Candace and Robyn are not joining us for the next season. I'm okay with Robyn not joining us. Robyn hasn't given us anything in the past. Yes, this is season 8. Robyn hasn't really given us anything in the past. Yeah, 7 seasons. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in.